So let me tell you a bit about Jimmy. He's a multiple elite coach. He's currently an 11-star diamond with 17 personally sponsored lifetime diamonds. Who's doing PiYO? You've seen Jimmy and worked out with Jimmy. And if you've done Insanity, he's the guy with the good squats. Jimmy's got that good squat, so let's hit that music. Welcome to the stage, 11-star diamond, Mr. Jimmy Hayes Nelson.
Thank you. Has this been valuable to you guys so far? These speakers are awesome. Give it up for them again. Everybody that's come up so far. What I love about this, like I said before, I've been a coach for 7 years and I'm sitting here taking notes like I'm a brand new coach. So I really hope that you're taking notes, that you have a plan of action, that along the side of your notes, you have a to-do list, the things you're going to put into action. Because the worst thing that happens is you come to something like this, you invest in getting here, and then it just stays here. You stay in learning mode and you never activate it. So you need to know what you're doing when you leave here. What are the to-dos? Danielle gave homework. And I was a terrible student. I'm a 3-time college dropout, but I appreciate the homework. So I thank you. I'm going to speak to you today about the 5 things I do every day, part-time, to create a multiple 6-figure income with my business. Would that be helpful? Great. Because what I find is that so many coaches get in here and you see a lot of these trainings and you get overwhelmed. And you have all these great ideas and no direction, no place to where am I going to go from here? First of all, I'm going to tell you that word, overwhelmed, drives me nuts as a sponsoring coach. Does anybody ever have a coach come to you and say, wow, I feel really overwhelmed. I don't know that I can do this. I'm here to tell you lovingly from the bottom of my heart that being overwhelmed is a choice. That the way we lay this out, the steps that we're giving you, you can take in little bite-sized pieces and activate those, or you can run with all of them at the same time. But being overwhelmed and just stopping really is a choice, right? So what I want to do is take some of the mystery out of what's busy work and what's production. Like, where are we moving forward? And this, what I call the Power of 5, I actually borrowed from not this past summit, but last year's summit. Who was that? Not the summit we just had, but the year before. Okay, you remember John Maxwell talk, and I loved his speech because he said people always ask him, how have you written so many books? How have you done all the things that you've accomplished? And he sat down and figured out that he did 5 things every day. And people would ask him, like, really, every day? Like on your birthday? Yep, that's a day. Like on holidays and stuff? Yep, that's a day. But he knew the 5 things he needed to do every day to continue to move forward towards his goals. And I thought about that, and I'm like, that guy's written a lot of books and he's done a lot of amazing things. But when you just have to get 5 things done in a day, doesn't seem so daunting, right? It doesn't seem so overwhelming. So I sat there in the audience at Summit, and he gave his 5 things, as writing and things. And I know we have the 3 vital behaviors, but I was like, man, what's my power of 5? What's the 5 things that I've done to create the business my wife and I run now? What is it that we do? And so I've kind of taken the vital behaviors and I've stretched it out just a little bit. And I didn't know that I was going to be the last speaker today. And I'm so glad that I am, because almost everything that I'm going to share with you today, and we're just going to put this to-do list, we're going to create this to-do list for you. These other amazing leaders that are just killing it in this business, they've all mentioned. And I'm just sitting over there giddy, I'm like, yes, 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 they're already making my points for me. So all I'm going to do is come up behind all these amazing people and say, all right, let's just formulate this into a list. So, number 1, yes, I see everybody go straight down the path. You're smart people. I like you. Number 1 is what I lovingly call PPDS. Right here. PPDS. That stands for Push, Play, Drink, Shakeology. Seems duh, right? You hear corporate talk about being a product of the product. You need to push play and drink Shakeology every day of your life. You need to be proof that what we do works. Now, we don't all have to have abs like Fit and Funky. You don't have to have a 100-pound weight loss success story like me. You don't need to look like one of our trainers. But you need to commit to a program and do it all the way through. You need to show that you're so convicted by what we do that it works, that you're willing to do it every day. I know so many coaches that struggle with their business and they've never gone through an entire program. And I think those two things really connect. There's so many, oh, what's this cool, sexy hybrid? What if I put this together with that? And those things are great. But if you have never opened up one of our programs and followed the calendar from beginning to end once, I'm going to challenge you to do that starting tomorrow, which is Monday. Why not, right? Pick one. I don't care. Whether it's Power 90, Hip Hop Abs, PiYO, Insanity. You want to work out with me? Pick PiYO and Insanity. I'd love to see you in the morning. But I'm going to challenge you to follow one all the way through. Because those of you that have done that, would you agree and say, there's something very satisfying about the fact that you marked an X on every one of those calendar boxes and you're like, I did that. I did that. And there's this confidence that comes with you. The way you talk about the program to other people, you carry an air of confidence. So you need to push play. You need to start creating your own story, your own testimony, even if you're just getting started. So that's number one, is the push play. The second part of number 1B, is drink Shakeology. Oh my gosh, the coaches that come to me and they go inactive, or they're quitting, or I'm like, why are you inactive, or why did you cancel your HD? Tell me if this sounds familiar. Well, I have 4 bags of Shakeology. It's just kind of building up. Anybody ever heard that from a coach? Anybody ever heard that from a successful coach? No, of course not. Because that tells me immediately, you're not drinking this stuff every day. So why would anybody ever say, give me the stuff that you're not drinking? Ever. Because if you're not so convicted by it to know that I gotta get this stuff in my body every day, nobody else is gonna follow your lead. The other thing I hear sometimes, and I have a dear friend who I wish was here because I could bring him a little bit, but he always tells me, he's like, Jimmy, I don't always have time to drink my Shakeology. And it's like, there's all these really cool recipes, you know, with a banana, and you can make pudding out of it, and you can make it into this. And the same dude can drink his coffee every morning, number one. But if you ever come across that, you have some Shakeology building up, and that's your reason. I'm going to challenge you to do something what I call wake and shake. You can write that down too. Wake and shake. I need you first thing in the morning to grab that Shakeology, put it in a shaker cup, add just plain old blah tap water to it or whatever, shake the heck out of that sucker and down it like a horse pill. I'm not worried about your taste buds, I'm not worried about your sexy recipe. I'm worried about this stuff being in your body for 7 days so you know how amazing you feel when you drink it. Because I don't know about how I feel the days I drink Shakeology, but I can tell you the days I haven't. And the last time that was probably over 2 years ago. Because I hate the way I feel now the days I miss it. So when I talk about Shakeology, as you can tell, there's a conviction in my voice about how much I believe in that product. But if I'm not pushing play and drinking Shakeology every day, nobody's going to follow my lead. That's number one. Number two. Hands down. You're still with me. You're still with me. I love this. Number two. Number two took me a little while to wrap my arms around. And I love the fact that Chris brought this up earlier. Oh, and Julie, don't worry. I didn't like Chris when I met him either. Number two is personal development. Personal development. Man, I didn't have a lot of self-esteem like Chris did when I got into this. 100 pounds overweight, 3-time college dropout, multiple maxed out credit cards. I was not bringing any money into my marriage for the first few years because my wife was the only person that was working. I really was a struggling actor. I may be okay on stage, but nobody was paying me to be on stage. And I was introduced to personal development. I just thought it was just a load of, you know what I mean? Like, I just thought, I remember my dad used to listen to those tapes and stuff like that, and I just thought it was a bunch of nonsense. Until I got so dissatisfied where things weren't going with my business, that's literally why I started. Because the people I saw that were passing me in this business, I felt like I was doing the same things they were, And they kept telling me, hey, I'm doing it. I'm reading 10 pages of a good book. Or I'm listening to 15 minutes of audio a day. And that's really where it started. When we as a network were introduced to personal development. That's your minimum. But the really cool thing I know is I'm not in a room with a bunch of minimum people. I know you're not just going to do enough to get by, right? And as you can guess, 3-time college dropout. I own a lot of books. I haven't read many of them. I'm awful at just sitting down, being quiet, and reading a book. My wife can read libraries. So I was like, well, this is important, but I put books by my bed at night. I'm going to do this. No, I watch Sports Center and go to sleep. Like, it's just, I mean to, but I don't. So it's like, how do I make this work for me? And I became a big fan of audios. So this is really what I do every day to make sure I get my personal development. My phone sits by my bed, which probably I know it should sit right there, but it does. And my alarm goes off at about 4:45 in the morning. That's crazy, right? Especially for a guy who made multiple 6 figures, Jimmy, like you don't have a boss, why do you do that? Because I study other successful people, and I hear that other successful people get up early, so I want to do what they do. Where did I learn that? Listening to audios. So this is what I do in the morning. Groggy state. I have my headphones and my phone by my bed. The minute that alarm goes off, I roll over, I put those headphones in, and I push play. And as I'm walking down to the kitchen, and I get my banana, and I'm making my eating, and all this stuff I'm doing before my workout, because I got to get my PPDS in, right? And I know from being overweight that I had to move my body clock, right? I was a bartender and worked late at night, and as an actor, I was always a night owl. But as I continued to study successful people, I'm like, they get up early, so I'm going to get up early. I'm going to do these things. I'm going to shift what I thought was my natural body clock. And so I pushed play, and I realized that there's a good 20 to 40 minutes of time that I can be setting my brain and my intention for the day before my day even really starts. Because when I was first introduced to personal development, I thought I had to be like a captive audience, like you are now, like taking notes, and I had to sit down. And I realized that once I just allowed myself, gave myself the permission to listen to things passively, it really did have a huge impact on how I started reacting to things during my day, how my business grew, how my relationship with my wife was, like my relationship with my coaches, my friends. So I listen to something that sets my intention every day. So you gotta find out what that is for you. Some of my favorite things that I love, and I love now because you can even just go on like YouTube or a podcast, and I'll pop something on YouTube. Doesn't mean I have to watch it. I can still listen to the audio. You know, right now I start my mornings every day with Pastor Stephen Furtick of Elevation Church. And there's a great book out there, and I really don't, it doesn't matter really what your belief system is. There's a book called Cracks the Chatterbox that he just released this year. And if you deal with negative brain chatter, go get that book or get the audio, or just check him out on YouTube. Because for me, I had lost 100 pounds, and I still didn't respect the dude in the mirror. I was like, nobody's gonna follow you. You can't stay in school, you don't finish things. Sure, you lost this weight, but you're a fraud, you're gonna probably put it back on. These are the things that would go through my head as the person I looked at in the mirror. I had to work as hard on my brain, if not harder, than I did on my body, ever. And I still do. If I don't do that every morning, and I listen, and I learn from other people like Gary Vaynerchuk was brought up earlier. Love that dude. Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar. I mean, now you have no excuse because you can just go on, like I said, YouTube or a podcast and learn something new every day. Again, you're not minimum people. So many of you raised your hand and said, get yourself a full-time job. Commute to and from. I used to listen to a whole bunch of sports talk radio. Now, I pick my spots, but for the most part, if I'm traveling or grocery shopping or anything, you'll see me with headphones in and my phone in my back pocket. Because I want to continue to learn. So, number 1, PPDS. Number 2, personal development. Number 3, stories, stories, stories. Our business is based on stories. You were in this room, I said it earlier, be a collector of stories. Go meet somebody else who stood up, or they've done something in this business, or maybe they were one of the weight loss success stories. Say, hey, can I just know a little bit more about you? You need stories to help people overcome their excuses and their objections. And the stories thing is really twofold. Number 1, so you can share somebody else's story. I have about 5 good stories that I have in my back pocket for when I talk to people. I have a time overcoming story. Oh, you don't have time? That's funny. Let me tell you about my buddy Wayne Wyatt. He has like 1,000 kids and is an orthodontist and has 1 million practices, and he made over $1 million in 2 years in this business. Are you that busy? Because I know I'm not. You know, I have a story for a stay-at-home mom. I have a story for people that I know that are in law enforcement. Because I've met these people and I collect their stories. But I'm also going to encourage you to share your story. And I don't care if you signed up to be a coach right before you walked in this door. There is something really powerful about what I call my first 7 days story. Please write that down. My first 7 days. An example of my first 7 days. My first 7 days of drinking Shakeology, I lost 5 pounds, I have more energy, and kicked my diet soda habit. In my first 7 days, I earned $35 helping one of my family members get fit. In my first 7 days, you get the idea. Because I can stand up and say, hi, my name is Jimmy, I've lost 100 pounds. Hi, my name is Jimmy, I'm in some fitness DVDs. Hi, my name is Jimmy, I make X amount of money with this business. And people go, wow, that's I'll gain fans. But they'll go, I can't do that, that's great for you. Because it seems like this gigantic mountain. But if you say, in my first 7 days, I lost 5 pounds, kicked a habit, feel a little better, have more energy, your friend that knew you 10 days ago goes, she can do it, I can do it. Because it gives them hope. They knew you before you got started. They knew you, they don't know you as like a fitness professional. They know you as the chick 3 cubics down. You know, she's looking good. That's when I got started. I was bartending with a guy and started losing weight. And I wanted to know what that dude was doing. So you don't have to be super fit yet. You don't have to be making a lot of money in this business to have a story that other people will want to do this with you. That's so much more powerful instead of, let me stand at the top of the mountain and tell you how to do it. Say, I don't know, dude, I'm just on this journey and I'm feeling good so far. You want to come with me? That story, that for people, it's not as intimidating for people to come with you. So, number 1, PPDS. Number 2, personal development. Number 3, stories. Number 4, make friends and add value. Dude, social media is the coolest thing in the world. And I think I heard a stat, I think Arnold even told me this, was the fact that like over 80% of new coaches are recruited via social media. You have no excuse not to go make 5 new friends every day on social media. And what I love so much is so many people have talked about that, whether, you know, Julie talking about, you know, Facebook stuff and groups that you're in, or Danielle talking about, you know, what else are you besides Beachbody? Go talk to people on social media. The cool thing, what I love about social media, instead of going to the grocery store and hoping that the girl bagging my groceries notices my insanity shirt and says something, and I really hope the conversation's going to go this way, I just go jump into conversations that I already want to be a part of all day long. I happen to like Twitter, unlike Danielle, and the reason I get Twitter is I can search any term. If you go to search.twitter.com, search.twitter.com, cool. You can type in anything and jump into conversations. This is something I learned from Gary Vaynerchuk in his book, Crush It and the Thank You Economy. And this is how he built his wine library TV business, right? Because he's like, well, I can't wait for people to come to me and ask me about wine. Right? Just jump on social media and answer everybody's questions they're asking about wine. So I do that exact same thing. I'm really into sports, so I'm going to go jump on, talk about how none of us really have huge hopes about the Cowboy season this year with a bunch of Cowboy fans, right? That's going to be on tape, and somebody's going to come back, and that's going to bite me eventually. But I can talk about how my wife and I are really into, we're watching Orange is the New Black on Netflix right now. Whatever you're into, whatever your hobbies are, whatever those things that identify you outside of Beachbody, just go talk to people and make 5 new friends every day on social media. And this isn't to pitch them a challenge pack. This isn't be in my group. Even if you're searching terms like our programs. I think I've probably found at least 3 of my diamond coaches just because I reached out, I searched one of our programs, and I just encouraged somebody that day. I'm going to ask you not to be a certain coach. Please, everybody raise your right hand and just say, I will not be this coach. I like that you did that, and I haven't even told you what it is yet. This is what irks me to no end. And I think they see it on Instagram more than anywhere else. So they hear that, okay, great, yeah, I'm gonna go encourage people today that are already doing our programs. And so there's a great picture of some dude, you know, maybe he's doing Insanity, and this is the post. Oh my gosh, you're doing Insanity, great, keep it up. I have a challenge group, you should be in my Facebook group, we can actually help you to... Please, for the love of God, don't be that coach. You come across as an amateur, and it's just, even if you have the best intentions, and your challenge group is the best challenge group ever, just don't do it. It just doesn't look right. I have a diamond coach of mine, Tulin. She's the proud plus size coach, and she's awesome. And she's lost about 90 pounds now since she's become a coach and we've been working together. And what I did about Tulin though, the first thing she told me, she said, Jimmy, I was the anti-coach, and the only reason I wanted to join your team is you're the only coach that didn't come by my Instagram feed and pitch me Shakeology or ask me to be in your challenge group. All I did was stop by and say, girl, you look awesome, keep it up. And I jump back by every few days and just encourage her. Just go make friends, add value, answer a question. If it is about fitness, just help people out. So what do we have? Number 1, PPDS. All right, cool, you're listening, you're still with me. All right, we're almost at the end of this. Number 2, your personal development. Number 3 was stories. 4 was make friends, add value. And number 5 is invite. This is something I really struggled with the longest time. I was afraid to ask the question. I was afraid to invite somebody to join me. So all these friends you're making every day, you're gonna get to know them. Whether it's the TV show you dig, or y'all use the same makeup, or y'all like the same hair products, I don't know what it is. But you're gonna eventually talk about life. And it's really funny, people love to talk about themselves, and people love to tell you what they're dissatisfied with in their life. Right? I mean, seriously. I mean, I was on a flight the other day, and like this lady I was like, hi, how are you doing? The sign on me must say, I am your shrink. Because please tell me about your broken marriage and your crazy kids. I was like, all I said was hi. But what's really cool about that is when you have that rapport with somebody and they start talking about what they're dissatisfied about, and you establish that amount of trust, that's where you can go, man, you mentioned not having a lot of energy. I don't know if this is for you, but I had the same problem 7 days ago. Right, so all ties in. 7 days ago, I started drinking this stuff. I have a little more energy now. I just got a promotion at work because I'm showing up, doing a little better. That is something that interests you. Casual. Keep cash. Keep it cash. Can you hashtag that? That's cool. I'm totally taking that. Please don't. But that's where you invite them. That's where you give them that call to action that so many of the other people have already talked about. Hey, couldn't help but notice that you talked about your job's really beating you down. Mine did too. Either your story or one of those stories that you collected. I got a little information, something that's been working for me and some friends. Were you more interested in being dissatisfied with where you are, or finding a solution to that problem? I'm going to say that one more time. Were you more interested in being dissatisfied with blank? Or were you sharing that with me because you're actually looking for a solution? They say they're looking for a solution, great. I can help with that. Some people just want to complain. Those people and me don't get along and we don't hang out very long. I'm like, great, peace out. Enjoy your time there in Awfulville. I don't want to live there anymore. I used to live there. So that's my 5 things, and literally that's it, guys. There's nothing sexy about that. But when I look back over my career, those are the things that I would do every day. And it's just like the compound effect, the slight edge. You keep doing that stuff every day, and the next thing you look up, you know, you don't have a boss telling you to go to work because you no longer have to be at that job if you choose not to. This is what I looked at. Because sometimes you wake up and you're like, well, how did I get to where I got to? I'm going to give you one bonus thing, and then we'll wrap up. It's a little concept I share with my team called learn, do, tweak. Not twerk. Please, not twerk. And anytime I've talked about this, just tweak. Learn, do, tweak. And in the honor of football season being back amongst us, which I'm very excited about, I'm going to use a football analogy, so hopefully you can hang with me a little bit. Learn, do, tweak. This is what successful people do. This is what you're going to do from now on. Right? Agree with me, okay? Learn, do, tweak. So, Let's say we're a big, gigantic football team, and I'm calling the huddle. Huddle up, boom, I'm the quarterback. Now, I'm gonna call this play. So what happens after that? After we call the play, we don't sit around the huddle and go, man, that play sounds awesome. That play, dude, I got really motivated when I heard about that play. We don't pat each other on the back or just like, hey, did you hear the play was cool? No! We run to the line of scrimmage and we run the friggin' play, right? So we run the play. So let's say, okay, I call the play. We get to the line of scrimmage, we're going to run the play. And your job as a wide receiver was to run 3 steps as hard as you can, forward, cut in right, I'm going to throw you the ball. I snap the ball, I drop back, you just decided your excitement of being the new wide receiver to run straight down the field like 20 yards. I throw the ball, you're not there. Incompletion, worse, interception. Now you as the wide receiver have another choice. You can just sit down 20 yards away and sulk. Pick at the grass. Feel sorry for yourself. Even worse, you can take yourself out of the game and go sit on the bench. That's terrible. Or up into the stands and just quit. But what the successful person does is run straight back to the huddle. We're calling another play. We don't have time for you to sulk. We don't have time for you to feel sorry for yourself. And I know I'm not running 20 yards to go see, are you okay? Was it okay? Are you all right? I don't have time. I love you. I want you to be successful. You're part of the team. But the team's over here. You got to come back to the team and say, what did I do wrong? Because what I'm going to tell you is I'm going to let you know you weren't that far off. You weren't that far off. This is what you did really well. You lined up in the right spot when there's the play. You got the snap count right. Like you didn't move until the ball was snapped. 2 good things you've done. You ran as hard as you could off the line of scrimmage when I snapped the ball. That's good. You just forgot to turn right after the 3rd step. We can fix that. We can tweak that. So this is what we're going to do again. We're going to tweak that. You're going to go back to the line of scrimmage. We're going to run this thing again. And you know what? You may screw it up over again. But every time you're going to come back to the huddle. Your huddle is your team. Your huddle is the national wake-up call. Your huddle is your sponsor coach. Quit blaming your sponsor coach because I haven't heard from my coach in about 4 days. They must not care about my success. Do they have a team page? Do they have a weekly call or something? Then go plug into that. And if your answer is no, everybody in here is in the Texas group, hopefully on Facebook. If your answer is no and you're like, man, I really don't have support from my upline, keep going upline. Or go find another team and say, hey, I'm kind of orphaned. Can I plug in with you guys? I get asked that all the time. Of course, we're a team, man. We want this thing to work. But stop isolating yourself. This is what happens, right? You get off on your fitness, or you stop drinking your Shakeology, or you stop engaging in the business. And if this is the team, you're way over here, right? And you feel bad, and you're really getting down on yourself, and you feel bad about your nutrition or your health, so therefore you're not sharing as much. And everything's this bad downward spiral. And instead of asking for help, your ego says, I'm going to fix this on my own. I'm going to fix this on my own, and then I'm going to go back to the team because I want good news. Okay, I'm going to fix this on my own, and every time you say that, you take a little step further. The next thing you know, you're so far removed from the energy source that you were a part of that you're just lost. The only difference between successful people and unsuccessful people isn't that successful people don't mess up, fall off the wagon, have bad days. They correct quicker. I know it immediately. Dude, I'm on the wrong path. Correct quicker. Correct quicker. Don't let a bad day become a bad weekend, become a bad month, become a bad 6 months, become your hopes and dreams are gone. Because you gave up on you, because you weren't willing to just go back to the team and ask for help. So that's my Power of 5 +1, and I hope that helps you guys out.